All right, the time has come. It is Friday night. The Super Bowl is here on Sunday. We got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The game will be played in Arizona. It is Super Bowl 57. And I'm just going to get straight into it. This is not one of these long-winded videos where I'm going over every single game, where I'm going over all my top plays and giving deep analysis of them. This is just one game. I've had 2 weeks to think about it. I've let my mind wander all over the place. I've given myself an opportunity to listen to all the information that's out there, dig deep and do my own research, really get a feel for these two teams from top to bottom. And I just think, side note, before I give the pick, I think it's very important. I'm the kind of guy personally who I allow myself to overthink. I'm okay from a betting perspective, thinking about every angle and making an argument for both sides before finally coming down to which team I like. I'm not the kind of guy that falls in love with a side and is just headstrong on, well, this is the right side, this has to be it. Nah, I'm the guy who's going to think about how both teams could win, how it could possibly play out. And then when I'm confident that one side just has such a stronger edge than the other, that's when I commit to a side and I lock in a pick. So with that being said, the Philadelphia Eagles, they have an amazing roster from top to bottom. They don't necessarily rely on their quarterback because they're so good in the trenches on both sides. They're a well-coached team. They're just a well-oiled machine that just does everything well. They don't really have any weaknesses. They got two dogs on the outside making plays in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's been one of my favorite receivers since he's came out. And the Eagles are just an incredible team. I backed them against the San Francisco 49ers. But, and you guys know where I'm going when I say but, they're just not battle-tested. They're just not battle-tested. They haven't been on a stage like this before. They haven't seen a team like Kansas City. Specifically, they haven't seen a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes before. And Andy Reid and Mahomes, I think the biggest game of their careers was when they lost to Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. And that was a game, it's actually the biggest wager I've ever had, was taking Tom Brady and the Bucks to win. I took them at plus 3.5. I also, my biggest bet was them plus 3.5, but I also had big bets on the under as well as Tampa Bay on the money line. And I think that was the biggest game of their career because they just saw hey, they got burned trying to just pass on every play and not running the football. They got burned not adjusting to how bad their offensive line was and how good the defensive line was for Tampa Bay. They got burned not changing their approach. They got burned not adjusting. They got burned with Patrick Mahomes running for his life. And ultimately, they got burned by a Tampa Bay team that was just a well-oiled machine, just like this Philadelphia Eagles team, except I think Tampa Bay was actually a little better than this Eagles team, and I think Brady at quarterback, I'm not saying that Hurts isn't a dog, because he is, but Brady and just the poise and just been there and done that, it just shined through in that game with him just being smart. And I think Philadelphia is a lot more mistake-prone than that Tampa Bay team was by the time they got to the Super Bowl. And I think that the Chiefs are just a much better team than they were back then. The O-line has improved so much since that time. Patrick Mahomes is a smarter and better quarterback now than he was back then. Andy Reid is a better coach than he was back then. And they have information, they have data, they have previous experiences. Life is the best teacher. And they've been there and done that, and they know exactly how to execute in this situation. So I think that just experience is just going to help so much in this game. And even if the Eagles are able to overwhelm them with their talent, I think that there comes a point where Mahomes is just going to be able to make the big play. And I do think that this game goes over. I'm leaning towards the over in this game. I might end up getting there. As of right now, I'm just going to give the official play as the spread pick. But I am leaning towards the over, and I might end up getting there. But the top play is definitely the Kansas City Chiefs plus the 1.5. I just think that even if this game ends up being a shootout, Mahomes with the ball in his hand late in the game is going to do what he has to do to secure a win. And I think the most untalked about unit, the most slept on unit that no one's paying attention to is this Kansas City Chiefs defense. I think Spags is going to have them ready to play. Of course, Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator. I think he's going to have them ready to play. We know he likes to blitz. Jalen Hurts still a little banged up. He's going to force him to throw. He's going to stack the box up. I think the Chiefs secondary, they got some young guys, but they're quick enough that they can play man. And if Hurts is struggling making some throws, and if they're pressing, I think that they can hang around, stick with those receivers as good as they are, just enough. They're going to get burnt sometimes, but even if they get burnt, is Hurts going to be able to make the throw under immense pressure? I'm not sure, because the Eagles do have a great O-line, but the Chiefs are getting a ton of pressure and sending a ton of blitz. So I like Kansas City's defense here. I think even if this game were to be low scoring, whether it's low scoring or high scoring, Mahomes and Reed are going to have the ball in their hand in the second half with an opportunity to cook, and I just can't pass that up. I can't pass that up as underdogs. All they got to do really is just win the game straight up. And they could lose a tight winner, but really all they got to do is win the game straight up and you cover. I just like that situation with Mahomes. We know Mahomes does a really good job when he has a short line. When Mahomes is like a dog, or when it's a short favorite line, that's when you want to back Kansas City, when everyone's doubting them. When Kansas City's getting these huge inflated lines, we fade them. I faded them when the Jacksonville Jaguars came into town and they were getting an inflated number against Kansas City. That's when I faded them. But Kansas City on a short line like this, I just think they take care of business. I'm not one of these guys that thinks Hurts is going to choke in the moment. I actually think the Eagles offense is going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. I think they'll be able to get the run going a little bit. I think Hurts is able to connect on a couple big throws, but all in all, he's going to miss a couple also. And the Chiefs may be able to force a turnover or whatever. The Eagles may be able to even force a turnover on Mahomes. But Mahomes is going to have the ball in the second half, and him and Reed, they've been there and done that. They've learned from their mistakes, and I just think he's going to come in there and he's going to close it out. So I got Kansas City winning this game. I could see 30-27, anywhere in that kind of range. Give me the Chiefs plus the 1.5. And also, sprinkle in there Patrick Mahomes for MVP. I haven't even checked what the odds are for that, but I'll most likely be on that. I mean, I'm definitely going to be on that. Patrick Mahomes is the Super Bowl MVP, and I'm probably going to end up on the over. I just have to think it through a little bit more, really check through everything. I know that the Chiefs have some banged up wide receivers. I know that O-line, Lane Johnson, some of these guys are a little banged up for Philadelphia, so it might be enough to hold me back from, expecting these offenses to put up big numbers. But as of right now, Kansas City to cover. Kansas City on the money line even, because I think they're going to win this game. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, and a heavy lean to the over. Those are the top plays for Super Bowl Sunday. Best of luck to everybody on both sides. And, everybody just have a good time. I hope you guys spend it with your family, with your loved ones, and just I hope we all get to watch a great game regardless of who wins or whatever. I just hope we all get to have a good time watching a great game. Two great teams battling it out. We did get the 2-1 seeds. It feels like we're watching the two best teams play football this Sunday. So I hope everybody enjoys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video for me. Until next time, peace.